The fishing industry at sea is a resilient journey in the vast ocean, where boats overcome storms to bring back precious products from the ocean. Let's take a look at the difficult journeys full of challenges and hardships of fishermen in the fishing profession. Let's get started together.
Once the ideal location was determined, the crew cast their nets in unison. The giant nets spread out like arms embracing the ocean. Each movement was performed rhythmically, in perfect coordination, like a dance on the waves. The nets were left to drift with the current for several hours. This was when the fishermen listened to the waves, smelled the wind, and silently prayed for the nets to be full. No one spoke loudly, only the wind and the quiet roar of the ship's engine. The entire crew worked together to pull the nets up. Muscles tensed, calloused hands tightened the ropes. When the silverfish glistening in the early morning sunlight burst from the water, everyone cheered, as if they had just conquered the ocean. After many hours of waiting, the net began to be pulled up. From the depths of the sea, the net bag gradually appeared, heavy, bulging, swaying under the weight of thousands of fish struggling vigorously. The whole team put all their strength into lifting the net bag up to the side of the boat. When the mouth of the net opened, a waterfall of silverfish rushed down the deck. The sound of splashing and cheering echoed across the sea. Beads of sweat rolled down their sunburned faces. But in return, there was a proud sparkle in their eyes. A moment when everyone clapped their hands in celebration. A great catch. One by one, hands tightly gripping the net rope, coordinating rhythmically. The shout, 1, 2, pull, resounds across the ocean. The heavy nets, bulging with hundreds of kilograms of wriggling fish, are slowly pulled close to the side of the boat. Each time they are pulled up, there is a splash of water. The fish jump and splash as if cheering, also the moment when the fishermen anxiously wait for the results. The fish still caught in the net will be removed by each person with familiar, agile but equally skillful hands. One hand holds the fish. The other hand gently removes the net so as not to tear or scratch the fish's body. Each type of fish will be placed in a separate basket, according to size or type. After removing, the fish are arranged by type: mackerel, anchovy, tuna, squid, shrimp. Each basket will be marked and covered with ice to preserve freshness. One by one, their hands grip the net ropes tightly. Working in unison, the shouts of 1, 2, pull echoed across the ocean. The heavy nets, bulging with hundreds of kilograms of wriggling fish, were slowly pulled close to the side of the boat. Each time they were pulled up, there was a splash of water. The fish jumped and splashed as if cheering, also the moment when the fishermen anxiously awaited the results. When the last part of the net was lifted up, the whole team used all their strength to dump all the fish into the boat's hold. As the lights of the fishing boats pierced the darkness, the sea began to sing. The skilled fishermen deftly lowered their nets into the dark water. A moment later, the sea surface seemed to change. Tons of fish began to struggle violently, creating small waves that splashed white foam, spreading across the area like sea fog. The sounds resounded loudly. The sound of fish hitting the net, the sound of water lapping against the boat. The cheers of the fishermen blended into a lively ocean music, where each swing was a climax. The net was gradually pulled up, heavy as if containing the treasures of the sea. In that moment, the sea was no longer a silent body of water, it became a large stage. When the net was full, the fishermen began to narrow the net, causing hundreds of kilograms of shrimp and fish to be piled into a corner like a treasure trove under the ocean. A hydraulic winch on the ship began to operate. The steel cable stretched, emitting a characteristic rumbling sound as the weight of the entire ocean seemed to be pulled up. The fishermen operated the machine while adjusting the net, each movement coordinated like a familiar dance. The entire fleet held their breath in anticipation. When the mouth of the bag just emerged from the water, layers of fish and shrimp flashed silver under the sunlight, shimmering like jewels, making everyone excited. The net was carefully hooked to the crane, lifted onto the deck. A heavy net, full of results after many hours of drifting, opened the days of bustling fish markets and laughter echoing throughout the harbor. After many hours of patience, when feeling the weight of the fish, the fishermen began to pull the net. Each strong arm, each decisive shout echoed in the wind and waves, gradually pulling the net that was full because of the strong vitality inside. A sea of fish appeared before their eyes, silvery fish, jostling and struggling, flapping their tails, splashing water. The scene was as vivid as a painting full of movement and sound. The fishermen quickly used large baskets or hand nets, hurriedly scooping up batches of fish and bringing them into the hold. When the sea breeze still carries the mist, the muscular fishermen begin their hard but proud work, pulling up nets full of fish from the depths of the ocean. The heavy nets, bulging under the weight of seafood, are pulled up step by step, like patches of the sea and sky being pulled towards the mainland. The fishermen work in harmony, closely coordinating with each other, each person holding the rope, together lifting up each batch of fresh fish. Modern machinery helps fishermen pull each net full of fish onto the boat. The strong pulling force from the machine and the support from the sailors on board work together to harvest quickly and efficiently. The fish are loaded onto the boat and begin to be sorted. The fresh fish are immediately transferred to the holding area, while the substandard fish are processed on the spot. After sorting, the fish are transferred through a conveyor system or pipes to the holding area under the boat. This system helps to preserve the fish safely and keep the fish fresh. Using a powerful system of machinery, the fishermen begin to pull the net up from the water. Cranes and cables work in unison to lift the giant net onto the boat, creating a powerful and impressive sight. Once the net bag has been pulled up close to the boat, the fishermen will continue to inspect and classify the fish right on the deck of the boat. Some types of fish are put directly into the holding tank, while the remaining fish will be transferred elsewhere for further processing. After being classified, the fish will be carefully poured into the holding tank. This is a specially designed compartment to preserve fresh fish, helping to keep it fresh for the next shipment. The process ends when all the fish have been put into the holding tank. The boat then continues its journey back to shore, waiting for the next fishing trip. When the fishing work is complete, the fishermen prepare to enter the extremely important and skilled part. They slowly approach the net bag latch, the connection point between the net and the boat. With gentle but decisive movements, they skillfully remove each latch. Each net bag begins to be removed, and the fresh fish are released into the boat's hold. In just a moment, the fish dance, sparkling in the space of the boat's hold, creating a lively scene, the taste of the results of a long journey at sea, where the sweat, effort and experience of the fishermen blend into each fish. There is nothing more wonderful than seeing the precious fish, the fruits of their labor, carefully preserved in the boat's hold. Experienced boatmen scout the waters where fish gather, They frequently change positions, monitoring natural signs such as waves and changes in water color to determine the ideal fishing spot. The group of fishermen begin to cast their lines, concentrating on observing every movement of the bait. When the fish begin to bite, excitement spreads among the group. The fishermen coordinate quickly, working in harmony to pull each large fish into the boat, gradually filling the boat's hold. Each net was like a vivid picture, full of marine life. Fresh fish, sparkling with silver, were slowly brought onto the boat. The entire boat became packed, full of all kinds of fish, heavy, like the sweet fruit of a hard but glorious journey. The net was empty. The boat began to turn back to the mainland. The feeling of victory filled the hearts of every fisherman. They brought back to the sea not only fish but also stories of perseverance and endurance in each trip out to sea. The Japanese fishermen started a new day. The dim light had not yet reached the water surface. They were ready. The wooden boats were carefully checked. The sharp hooks and long fishing rods were carefully prepared. When the boat stopped at the ideal location, the fishermen began their work. The hooks were thrown into the water, gently but with precision. Each throw was like a silent communication with the sea. The group watched attentively, listening to the sounds under the water, feeling the subtle movements of each fish. Finally, the big fish appeared, filling the boat's hold. They reflected the sunlight, beautiful and fresh. The feeling of victory filled the space, but also respect and gratitude for the sea, the place that bestowed these achievements. As soon as the fish are pulled from the sea, they immediately enter a meticulous care process to preserve their freshness. First, as soon as they reach the shore, the fish are taken to the processing area and immediately chilled with pure ice. On shore, the fish sorting process is quick but meticulous. Large, fresh fish are carefully selected for sale. Fishermen use skillful sorting techniques, from distinguishing fish species, sizes, to the level of freshness of the fish. High-quality fish are put into separate baskets, while smaller or damaged fish are separated. After sorting, the fish are processed right at the dock, cleaned and carefully packaged. This is an important step to ensure that the fish always retain their freshness before being exported or brought to local markets. Those working in this profession always pay attention to protecting the quality of the product from the time the fish is caught until it reaches the consumer. The journey from the sea to the consumer begins when fishing boats return to shore, carrying treasures from the ocean. Fresh fish are carefully loaded onto trucks, rolled over bumpy roads, and poured into bustling wholesale markets. Here, full fish crates are opened, exuding a fresh, attractive aroma, adding to the lively atmosphere. People jostle, choosing for themselves the freshest fish, bringing them home to process into flavorful dishes, imbued with the culinary identity of the sea. The process of processing fresh tuna from the ocean into unique dishes begins with dramatic trips out to sea. Experienced fishermen, with skillful fishing techniques, start by searching for schools of healthy tuna in the vast ocean. When the tuna are pulled up, they are immediately preserved to maintain their freshness, before being brought back to the mainland. Here, Tuna is processed into many attractive dishes, from fresh sashimi slices to fragrant grilled tuna or flavorful tuna soups. Each dish not only brings great flavor, but also tells the story of the fisherman's ingenuity, perseverance and love for the ocean. Finally, to add to the appeal, sashimi slices are often delicately presented, accompanied by a little bit of light seasoning such as wasabi, ginger or special soy sauce, helping to balance and highlight the natural flavor of the fish. When enjoying, you will feel the freshness, sweetness, and sophistication in each piece of sashimi, like an unforgettable experience.
Today's video ends here, and I hope we have brought you an interesting topic. How do you feel today? Please comment a lot below to let us know. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe to support the channel. And now, hello, and see you again in the next videos.